Pokemon Go. Are you gonna catch them all? Need a crash course on computer storage? Will I become president? Find out tonight on the insanity we like to call Nothing News. Okay, America, it's time we had that talk. That sit-down conversation that every parent needs to have with their hormonally unbalanced teen. That intervention that every family needs to have with their alcoholic uncle. That aggressive negotiation that every Jedi Master needs to have with their Padawan learner. Pokemon Go. No, really, go, leave! Dear God, people, this is worse than Candy Crush. Oh my God, Pokemon Go. OMG, Pikachu's the cutest. Well, shiver me timbers, ain't that the darndest thing? Guys, I love Nintendo, I do. But first of all, it needs to be said, the game stole everything from Ingress, the popular Android app that does basically the same thing. No, Zach, this is totally original. It is. Sorry to ruin your Pokestop, but it's the same design company. They just put in a new map interface so it looks different. And they added the, okay, I'll admit it's a cool feature that utilizes your camera to do actual harvesting of these poor creatures who are obviously hiding for a reason. Not to mention the real-life challenges this has created. Shall I go down the list? Let's look at this poor guy who lives in a church. Yeah, I know, it's kind of weird. And therefore, his house has magically turned into a Poke Gym. Those people are blocking his driveway. Oh, but all's well and that ends well. Because the owner of the house meets the owner of the gym, which begs the philosophical question of physical versus virtual ownership and all of the ridiculous implications. Or how about this chick who found a dead body because she was searching for a water Pokemon? What is happening? Or how about all these people from police departments, fire departments, public offices, etc., who are all in the precarious position of telling people to do your Poke grabbing outside? I love how folks have already used the beacon feature to lure unsuspecting teenagers, who by the way were out at 2 a.m, not much sympathy there, out into an abandoned parking lot to rob them. Not to mention all of these people walking into trees, causing traffic problems, and worse.
Now, this girl right here, she's walking, she's texting, and goes whoop straight into the fountain.
Oh. Marcono in Sky 5. Well, this is very interesting.
The shot of
there's a person walking right there.
We got someone resident there.
Yeah, dude, that's a real bear. You can't catch it with Pokemon balls. I'm warning you, America. As the first mention of our tax dollars paying for legislation involving Pokemon Go or in any augmented reality smartphone game, that is an open-ended threat. I'm just gonna leave it right there. Need to store some data? Researchers at Microsoft and the University of Washington have set a new record for DNA storage. The pair was able to record 200 megabytes of data on molecular strands. Once encoded, the data was smaller than the tip of a pencil. Are you hearing me, people? To paint a clear picture of how stupendous this feat really is, here's a quick comparison of what the first computers were able to store and where we're at today. The first hard disk drive seen here was the IBM Model 350 disk file that came with the IBM 305 RAMAC computer in 1956. It had 50 24-inch disks with a total capacity of 5 million characters, just under 5 megabytes. Multiply that computer capacity by 40, and you'd equal the 200 megabytes found on molecular strands. Well, how about that floppy disk? The first versions, introduced in 1971, had a paltry capacity of 79.7 kilobytes, or 0.0797 megabytes. Confused by the bytes? In short, kilobytes are the smallest, followed by megabytes, then gigabytes, soon after by terabytes, then petabytes, followed by exabytes, thereafter by zettabytes, then by yottabytes. Yes, folks, we've come a long way. Oh, looks like we have a Nothing News notification. Let's go to our in-studio correspondent, Brad Hackett. Brad?
Thank you, Zach. Our Nothing News notification is brought to you by Cramerica Industries. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. A local man received an intense and relentless badgering after his wife instructed him to cut down a tree in their yard, and he cut down the wrong tree. The man was later seen nearby a local flower shop purchasing a copious amount of his wife's favorite roses. The question is still, can he survive an entire month while sleeping on the couch? Apparently, local celebrity Vincent Clarke is having his name dragged through the mud, so to speak, due to new evidence that instead of washing pots and pans like he was supposed to during his tenure in the kitchen of a local hospital, he instead spent his time photoshopping gift cards for his coworkers. The Pots and Pans Association of America has yet to comment on this startling development. The impact on his career may not be known for decades. This has been a Nothing News notification notifying you on all the things you don't care about. Zachary, back to you.
Thank you for that update, Brad. We will continue to monitor all of the noteworthy breaking news in our corner of the solar system and beyond. Speaking of stars, who saw the PBS broadcast for the 4th of July fireworks? It didn't take long for viewers to realize something wasn't right. Why is that? Well, apparently they were simply playing clips from past years due to bad weather. Are you kidding me? What's next? Making up news when there's nothing interesting to talk about? That's my job! What a joke! Stick to the real news, PBS, and if the weather is too bad, too bad! Stop lying to the public.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
I have already received tremendous support for my campaign, and I would like to thank each and every one of you 8 people who will be voting for me in the upcoming election. Zach, that is I, announced Friday evening that my platform is very simple. Essentially, my platform is as follows. Number 1, I am not Donald Trump. Number 2, I am not Hillary Clinton. Please hold your applause. I know this is exciting. He, that is I, went on to discuss the essential role his VP would take during my tenure in the Oval Office. Before I take any questions, I'm also announcing my running mate, Vice President of the United States of America, to be Cthulhu. That is another reason I believe selecting Cthulhu as my running mate is pivotal for our survival as a human race. We need somebody on our side, willing and able to garner complete and utter decimation in the event of an alien threat. So we at Nothing News choose to be the first organization to fully endorse Zach Ford for president. And we stand by his platform. We hope you will too. That brings us to the end of this week's episode. Thanks to our special news correspondent Brad Hackett, our videographer, editor, and producer Vinnie Clark, at which current time our researchers assure us is of no relation to Vincent Clarke, and our one sponsor, Cramerica Industries. A special thanks to Debbie Zielinski and John D'Amalia Jr. for having their stories selected out of a petabyte of entries. I'm Zach Ford, your host, and this is Nothing News, reporting on everything you don't care about. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Nothing News. Check out the links in the description to our Twitter, Facebook, and WordPress pages. Subscribe, you might get a sneak peek into how our spectacular cover art was made, so click the button! Thank you all for liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing!